Stock South with you, and I just realized that I really haven't spoken much or have done that many videos on my college days, and I really should. You get right down to it. I had a pretty good time in college. They told me I had a wonderful time. The I very seldom studied, but boy, I had a ball, and I got reasonably okay grades, I guess. Yeah, but but it just really wasn't my bag. Tell you the truth, it wasn't. The But still, I think I ought to get a few stories in, and the one I've got to tell is the story of my landlady. My landlady, Mrs. Stott. Mrs. Stott. Yep, she was just the greatest. She had just a little home, off campus, and for my sophomore year, she had a bit of, she would rent out rooms to the students, and I got one of her rooms, and she's a lovely lady. Probably back then, well, if she was alive now, she'd probably be about 140, but back then, I'd say she was 75, 80 years old, something like that. Very frail looking, but don't let looks fool you. Yeah. She was a pip. And she would have loved, she did live in the 60s and probably was more of a hippie than the average hippie. But had she been younger then, oh my gosh, I hate to think. Oh, I hate to think. She would have been a trip, as they used to say back then. And I thought the world of her. Very nice lady, and she always liked me. And I know one day, I don't know, I must have been there during in the morning doing some homework, and I don't know, I went down, she let us keep some of our stuff, some of our food in the refrigerator, and I was getting something, maybe a bologna sandwich or something, and I saw her, normally she wore like a dress and that kind of thing, but she was, I look at her, she come out of her bedroom, and she was wearing dungarees and a flannel shirt, and she had like a ball cap on, and she didn't normally dress that way. And it's, Mrs. Stott, what's the deal here? In fact, I don't know if she had a ball cap on. I think she had her usual lady's hat with a flower coming out of it. But the rest, dungarees, flannel, sweatshirt, I think with a hood. I think. And it wasn't that chilly a day. It was, it was a day in early spring, nice day like today is. And I said, so what, Miss Stott, why are you dressed like that? I've never seen you in jeans and stuff. She says, oh, I'm going down to, I think she said she was going down to, let's just say, I'm just naming a town along the Ohio River. Says, I'm going down to Pomeroy today. And so I got some stuff to do down there. I want to stop in at the American Legion, get a beer or two. And so I got some shopping, looking maybe for a new sofa. They'll deliver it up here. I said, so, Miss Stott, you don't drive. What, are you taking the bus? Or she says, no. She says, I'm hopping a freight. I said, that's why I'm in the dungarees and all. So, I don't tear my dress. You can't hop a freight in a dress. I said, well, no, I guess not. But wait a minute. You're hopping a freight, Mrs. Stott. I'll ride you on my bike or something. It's 30 miles to Pomeroy. How are you going to, a freight car? She says, yeah. I said, yeah. She says, yeah, I do it all the time. It's but. She says, no. She says, perfectly safe. I said, well, it's not that safe. Well, she says, no. She says, yeah. She says it would be dangerous if the freight was moving, but when I was younger, I used to hop on the moving freights, but that's at my age, that's probably not a good idea. I said, at a young age, that's not a good idea. If you slip, your train will cut you in half. She says, no. She says, I'm very good at it. And she says, but now the crew of this particular train, it's always the same crew. they come through around 10 o'clock. She said, I do kind of got to hurry and get trackside. But I called them last night. I called the engineer, and he's going to keep a lookout for me. And when they see me, they'll slow down. And well, it's not that long a train, so he said they got a gondola car not too far from the engine, and they'll just stop, get out, and help me up onto the gondola car. She says, I'm not as spry as I used to be. I said, well, you're plenty spry, and then she said, I'm going to just sit in the gondola car, and I got my sandwiches, coffee, I got cookies for the crew, and they'll take me on down to Pomeroy, help me get out, and then they'll pick me up tomorrow. She says, I won't be here tonight. You boys keep an eye on things now. I said, okay, yeah, we won't do anything too bad. She says, yeah, okay. And but yeah, she evidently was pretty big on taking the freight trains. Not the smartest thing to do. Nowadays, I think they got them all pretty well locked up, and I think they put the freights together in various freight yards and such. Probably not a good place to be. A lot of it's very computerized and stuff, and they probably run you over in a heartbeat. But back in those days, yeah, the crews actually, they kept. All I can say is they kept an eye out for Mrs. Stott and made sure no one bothered her. No riffraff getting into her gondola car. And, maybe a hobo got in there, but, they knew the hobo. Right. They knew he'd keep an eye on her, help her out if need be. And she just, I guess there's a way to kind of just lean on the side of the gondola car or just watch outside the box car if that's what you're in, if it's a rainy day. And she just watched the world go by and, get to Pomeroy, do take care of whatever business she had, and I guess next morning catch the northbound. Mrs. Stott, one of the wonderful people. And I think back as I look at her in my mind's eye, her and Sandy weren't really probably would have been real birds of a feather. They would have been very fast friends. She would have loved Mrs. Stott. And I think had they grown up together, they would have been a force to reckon with, those two. Yes. Oh man, I hate to think. And they would have easily gone to jail a few times together. Yes. And probably in a bar fight would have had each other's back. But they were, Mrs. Stott was okay. And every now and then she'd cook stuff for us, for the guys in the inner boarding house. And she was, I think back fondly on her. And I hope maybe someday, in the great beyond, I'll meet her again. That would be, we can go ride some freights. Oh, Lord have mercy. What a great lady. You know what? I got to, because I think she'd like, Lord's Prayer moments, sure. For Mrs. Stott, of course. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. So be it. And except for trespassing on railroad property, I don't think Mrs. Stott ever trespassed against anyone. She was just one of those people. And yet, boy, she was a trip, as we used to say back in the 60s. Yes, indeed. Anyway, bless her heart. We'll see you, bless her soul. We'll see you later, friends. Thank you. God bless. Bye now.